Okay, this is video 2 for Access 2016 Project 2, and this is where we left off. We had just run that account city query with a parameter criteria. So just to kind of review, if I close this and then I go back to account city query and double click, I'm going to be prompted to enter a city, okay, because it is has that parameter in there to always search for a city. All right, so I'm going to cancel that because we're going to be done with that for now. All right, so we are going to go back to create and go to query design. So we're going to do another one here. So query design, and click the account table. Click add. Close that. Alright, so let's take a look at all of our accounts again, or all of our fields, sorry, not accounts, in the account table. So we're going to include account number, we're going to include account name, amount paid, current due. Looks a lot like the last one. Only this one, before we run it, we're going to use, again, we're going to sticking with this criteria here. So far we've used text as the criteria. We threw in a wildcard, right, with the asterisk. We did a parameter criteria. And now we're going to search using a number. So current due, and we go down to criteria and just simply enter 0. So this is going to show me only accounts that have a current to balance or a current to due balance of 0. So let's run that. Okay, good enough. All right, and then I can show you a different way. We want to save this query because right now it's query 1. And if you take your mouse and you right click up there and we click save. Okay, so we'll be prompted to save this, and we're going to use that same kind of file thing here. So it's M02 Q 03. Click OK. And again, now it shows up over there with the rest of our queries. All right, so we can go ahead and close that query. Okay, and we're going to actually start a new query using the account manager table. So I'm just going to highlight that before we start. We'll click query, and let's go to query design. Okay, and go to account manager, add, close. That's the only one we want. Let's take a look at them all here. And we're going to include account manager number. So double click, last name, first name, and start date. So those are the fields we want to include. All right, this time we're going to use something called a comparison operator. So the most common ones, it's kind of a fancy way to say greater than, less than, or we have greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to, or the word not, which means not equal to. So those are some comparison operators. So what we're going to do is search for start date. We want to go down to criteria. All right, and what we want to put in is greater than 1/01/2015. So what that's going to say is look for anybody who started after January 1st of 2015. Okay, so anybody hired before January 1st of 2015 would not be included in there. So let's run the query. Okay, and you can see those start dates are after January 1st of 2015. All right, so again, that we could greater than or less than, pretty simple to, we're going to do it again here in a minute, but again, those are called comparison operators. All right, so I'm going to right click here again, save this query. Again, it's going to be M02 Q04. Okay. We can close this query. And we're going to start another new query. So I'm going to go back to Create, Query Design. And this time we want to use the account table. So we're going to add that and then close. Let's view all of our fields. We want to include account number. We want to include account name, amount paid, current due, and the account manager number field. All right, so these are the fields we're going to include there. All right, so now before we looked at the criteria in current due, we just put in 0. Right? We didn't use any greater than or equal to. We just put in 0, and it ran, showed us which accounts have nothing due. Well, this time we're going to use a different criteria for current due, and we're going to put in greater than, greater than 2,500. Okay. And I want to know, well, first let me just show you this. I'm just going to click Run. You don't have to do this. All right, so we got a lot of accounts that have more than $2,500 due. Okay, and remember the account manager would be who's the person in charge of this account who owes us so much money. Okay, so what if I said, well, I don't want to know that. I'm going to go back to Design View, and I say, well, for each account manager, I want to know which accounts are theirs. So I'm going to go down to the account manager number criteria and put in 31. All right, so now I'm looking for accounts that have a balance of current due of more than $2,500 that are assigned to account manager 31. Now when I run that, okay, I'm down to 3 accounts. So now I could go to this account manager and say, hey, you've got 3 accounts that have a lot of money due, so we might need to call them whatever. Okay, so again, we're using 2 criteria there. We searched by greater than 2,500 and by a certain account number, or account manager number. So you can include several criteria into one search. All right, again, right-click, Query 1, Save, M02, Q05. Let's go ahead and save that. Okay, so again, we have our run query here. We're going to go back to Design View. So what I want to do here is take off the 31 here, the account manager 31, account manager number 31, and go down 1 row to the OR row and retype 31 there. So what this is going to do is run a query. It's going to show us all of the accounts that are greater than 2,500, and or every account assigned to account manager 31 regardless of balance. Let's run that. Okay, so for every other account manager, we're only seeing accounts with greater than 20,500, but you can see for account manager 31, we have this one here whose current due is 0. So you can search using the OR criteria. So lots of different ways you can search and use those criterias to include or not include anything you want to do here. Okay, so I can go back to Design View. You don't have to do this, but we can just kind of watch here. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of this. And we go to the amount paid. Let's see if any of these show up. So I want to see which accounts are the amount paid are 20,000. Oops, hold on. Let me go back and type in between 20,000 and 40,000. Let's run, see what happens. All right, so there you go. The amount paid between 20,000 and 40,000. Just these accounts. So again, all I did was throw in the word between 20,000 and 40,000. So lots of different things you can include there in the criteria. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Back in design view here. Okay, so make sure you're in design view. I'm going to click just above the account number. See down here the column? If your mouse turns to that arrow and it highlights them all. I'm going to hold down Shift. You're going to get that black arrow all the way down by account manager number. So it highlights everything, and hit delete on your keyboard. So it deletes your whole query. Okay, so if you're going to use some of these again, you want a different query, you can just clear the grid. That's called clearing the grid. All right, so we've deleted the grid, and what we're going to do now is sorting data into a query. So we're going to still use the account table, and we're going to double click city. So I want to go to sort, and we're going to go sort and ascending. So this is going to show me all of the cities that our accounts are in ascending order. Okay, I'm going to click run. So you can see here. Those are all the results of the city field in alphabetical order or ascending order. Okay, just so you know the difference, if I go back to design view and go from ascending to descending, now I start, so it's Z to A. Okay, we'll go back to ascending. Again, run that. All right, so here's, if I told someone I need a list of all the different cities that we have accounts in, someone please run that search, that query, and print it out and show me. Okay, well look in here, I've got duplicates. So I don't need to know that Bremerton's twice, Carleton's twice, 2 in Davidson, and 2 in Wells. I just want to see a list of the cities, so I don't need duplicates. So what we're going to do now is how to get rid of duplicates in a search. This gets a little complicated, so this will be the last thing we do in part 2 of the video. So I'm going to go back to design view. Okay, and then up on the down here, I'm going to click in this second open box. And then up on the top here, I'm going to make sure the design tab is there. It should already be because we're in design view. And then I want to look for something called the property sheet button. So that's over here, property sheet. So this is going to be all the different properties of this query over here. Okay, so lots of different things we can do over here. And then there's something called over here, unique values. Right now it says no. I'm going to change that to yes. So again, this is going to prevent duplicates from showing up. Okay. Then I can close this. And then if I run the query again, see now all the different cities are in there, but Bremerton's only once, Wells is only once. I think Carleton was in there twice. Okay, so it's it eliminates those. Okay. All right, let's go back to design view. Again, I'm going to clear the grid here. So get rid of that, of the city tab. And I'm going to now add account number. I want to add account name, account manager number, and amount paid. And now we're going to search on multiple keys here. So what we want to do is go to account manager number, and then sort in ascending order, and then amount paid also in ascending order. Okay, so it's going to group these by account manager number, and then the amount paid, the highest ones first. All right, so let's run that. So all the account manager 31s are first, then the 35s, then the 58s. Okay, and then the amount paid, again, are in ascending order. So the least amount paid to the highest amount paid. And then the 35s in ascending order. Okay, so we sorted by 2 different fields in there, account manager number and amount paid. All right, let's do a quick save of this. Okay. Whoops. All right, I'm going to have to do a quick one here. So we're going to do File, Save As, Save Object As. And we're going to save this as M02Q08. So 08 at the end here. I'm going to get cut off 08. Okay.